Hola a todos, ¿cómo estamos? Yo estoy muy bien y muy contento de estar aquí hoy con vosotros. Welcome to the special Coffee Break Spanish Live, a live broadcast. And why are we doing a live today? Well, let's be honest, it's Black Friday, and it's a very important day because Black Friday gives us an opportunity to make our language courses, our Coffee Break Spanish language courses, as accessible as possible to as wide an audience as possible. And in turn, we are able to build our company and build our business and develop more content for you. So it is an important day, and I hope that you are well, and I hope that this is going to be a useful live to help you make the right decision about which Spanish course to take with us. Now, let me know where you are watching from. We're broadcasting on our YouTube Coffee Break Spanish channel, in our YouTube Languages channel, and also in our Coffee Break Spanish Facebook page. So let me know where you're watching from, which part of the world you're in, how long you've been learning Spanish for. It will be nice to say hello to some of you in the comments. Let's just check that everything is working. You should be able to see my slides here. I should be able to ask who's watching so we can have some comments on the screen. And I just want to make sure I've got all the information I hear. Yep, I've got all the information from the team here. Now, I should also say, unfortunately, I've got a bit of a cough. So if you see me muting the mic, you'll know that I am just muting the mic to have a cough, and I don't want to cough on mic. I've also got my tea here to help. It's a Coffee Break German mug. I hope you don't mind. I couldn't find a Coffee Break Spanish mug just before we were getting started there. So Coffee Break German mug for our Coffee Break Spanish live stream today. So we have Kathy joining us from North Carolina. You're very welcome, Kathy. Duncan is joining us from Cambridge. Hola, Duncan. Gio is joining us, looking to learn Spanish as I'm retired now. So sitting here in sunny south side of Glasgow. It's not, we're a little bit further south than that, and it's definitely not sunny here in Ayrshire. So I'm glad you're enjoying some sunshine in the south side of Glasgow. We've got Tom joining us in Chicago. We've got Fiona in Edinburgh. We have got Michael joining us in Irlanda, and we've got Matthew joining us in Cyprus, Texas. Fantastic. You're all very welcome. You're also very welcome indeed if you're watching this as a replay, as a review after the event. Obviously, we're live today, but if you're watching the replay, then again, you're very welcome. And again, post your questions, and we'll do our best to get answers to you. And obviously, I'm going to be answering your questions live in this section. So we've got Linda joining us from Connecticut and Naheda joining us from Kuwait. Fantastic. You're all very welcome indeed. So what are we talking about today? Well, today we are talking about all of our Spanish courses. And the purpose of this is to help you figure out where you are on your Spanish learning journey and how we can help you on that journey. So over the course of this session, we're going to be looking at our academy courses. We have the Coffee Break Academy, where all of our courses are held. And these courses are typically self-access courses where you can work through progressive lessons. Excuse me one moment. I very much hope you didn't hear that. So our academy courses is where you can work through the course in a progressive way, taking lesson 1, then lesson 2, lesson 3, and so on. We also have what we call the Coffee Break Club, and that is an alternative way of practicing your language skills with a video library. It's kind of like Netflix for language learners, if you like. And I was showing you behind the scenes of the Coffee Break Club, so you'll see all the different Spanish resources there. We'll talk about pricing, the pricing of our courses, and crucially, we'll talk about how to save 40%. Excuse me. We'll have time for questions. And indeed, at any point, please do post your questions in the chat. What would be really useful is if you can put the word question before your question, and then that way, when I'm scrolling through the chat, I can see the questions easily, and I will be able to answer your questions. So I guess the key question for me is, what stage are you at? Where are you in your language learning journey? Are you at a beginner's level and want to get as much content you can for a beginner? Are you perhaps at an intermediate level and reach that sort of intermediate plateau where you don't really know where to move to next? You feel that you've stopped moving forward and you need to move sideways a little. That's very, very common, and we've got the resources to help you there. Or have you done the intermediate stuff, or do you feel you're ready for a greater challenge? Let me know in the comments, or if you've got a specific question about where you are and where you want to go next, then I'm absolutely happy to recommend a particular course that will help you move forward. So let me just check that we can log in to our website here. So if I press this button here, you should be able to see our Black Friday sale website. This is at coffeebreaklanguages.com/BF2024. So that is where you need to go if you want to look at this page and access the Black Friday discounts on this page. But as we scroll down the page, you'll see that there are only 4 days left of this. We're stopping on Tuesday night. So shop now to save 40%. You can choose your language. We have courses in 9 languages at the moment. Obviously, we are learning Spanish, so we'll click on Spanish, and we'll be taken to the Spanish part of this page. Now, this is our main page, and it's just got a small selection of some of our courses on here. But what I would suggest you do is click on View All Spanish Courses. So this button here, this will allow you to jump to the Spanish page, and that's where our whole range of courses are available. And again, with the Black Friday links in them to make sure that you get the 40% off. And we're going to use this page, there I am, as a kind of guide through this live stream. So I'll be using this as the kind of starting point so that we can work through our beginners content, our lower intermediate content, our upper intermediate content, and our advanced content. We'll just scroll down here to our beginners stuff. Now, looking at your comments here, Michael's saying beginnerish. Oops, I'm hiding Michael. I'll take me away for just now. Michael's saying beginnerish. Matthew also is beginning in Spanish. Tom's saying not a beginner, but just a step beyond that. I do well with vocab, but struggle with verbs. Very, very common. Kathy also is a beginner. So let's first of all look at our beginners content. We'll begin with Coffee Break Spanish Level 1, which is our main kind of flagship course for this level. If we go to this tab, we should be able to access the Academy. So let me just type in Level 1 here. This is a demo account where I've got access to everything. If I log into, sorry, I'm going to have to cough. So we're logged into Coffee Break Spanish Level 1, lifetime access. You can see that the courses are lifetime access. So as a complete beginner, you're really starting at the absolute basics of the language. We're looking at saying how you're feeling, learning greetings, saying where you're from, nationalities, and so on. And each lesson you see has 4 main elements: a video, an audio version, and notes, and bonus audio. So if we go into the video, you'll see that the video is based on words on screen. So you've got words on screen and you can watch the video and learn as you go with the words on the screen. There is an audio version of that if you want to listen to it while you're out for a run or in the car. And you also have lesson notes based on the lesson with explanations in text form and the transcript of everything that is said in the lesson. So these lesson notes add up to a complete set of course notes over the course of the 40 lessons of lesson 1, of level 1, sorry. So if we just come back to our main site, our main list here, we can work all our way through the lessons, and we're covering very much transactional topics here. So the kind of topics that you would need if you're traveling in a Spanish-speaking area. Sorry, one sec. And the topics then are things like ordering drinks in cafes, getting about the town, reservations in a restaurant, hotel accommodation, campsites and at the market, exchanging currency, all these kind of things that you might need to do while you are traveling in a Spanish-speaking area. One very common question that we get about Coffee Break Spanish is, are we learning Spain Spanish or is it Latin American Spanish? So first of all, as a Spanish teacher and as a Spanish learner myself, I learned Spanish in Spain. So I studied in the University of Salamanca, and that's where my Spanish is from. And the Spanish that I speak is a Spanish that's understood everywhere. So a couple of months ago, I was in Mexico and I spoke my Spanish. I was understood perfectly in Mexico and I understood what the Mexicans were saying to me. There is this myth, I believe, that you learn one type of Spanish and it's completely not spoken elsewhere. I'm speaking to you. I can see Kat from Northern Illinois. Kat presumably understands what I'm saying. You are watching from all over the world, and I'm hoping that you're understanding my English. I'm using my Scottish English here. So if I use my Spain Spanish in Mexico or in Chile or in Venezuela, I'll still be perfectly understood. Obviously, different regional accents have different elements to them. For example, in Spain, we say ciudad. In Mexico, you would be more likely to say ciudad. But these are little things that you shouldn't you shouldn't get hung up on, because the language that you're learning, the way you're learning to use the language, it's ultimately the same language. Obviously, there are words that are different from time to time. In Spain, we say coche, el coche for the car. That would be el carro in most Latin American countries. But there's this myth that Latin American Spanish exists, and it doesn't, because Venezuelan Spanish is different from Argentinian Spanish, is different from Chilean Spanish, is different from Ecuadorian Spanish, and they're different from Spain Spanish. But even Spain Spanish, Malaga Spanish is different from Zaragoza Spanish, and so on. There are regional variations wherever you go, just as there are regional variations in English. And I think if we get so hung up on which type of Spanish are we learning, then sometimes that can be a bigger barrier. What we need to do is learn to use the language, and where necessary, learn to use carro over coche. And we cover that, of course, in Coffee Break Spanish. Thank you for the questions that are coming in. Fantastic. I will definitely get to all of these questions as we go through the session. If we scroll to the end of Coffee Break Spanish Level 1, let's just jump into the notes here for lesson 39. So this is based around una entrevista, an interview. And if we just have a quick look at the questions and the conversation that's happening here, this is not un café por favor. This is much more developed. So this is showing you how far you can come with just one level of our Spanish course. And that is Coffee Break Spanish Level 1. If we jump back to this page, we also have another course, which is a shorter course. It's to top up, if you like, what you learn in Level 1. And it's called Coffee Break Spanish To Go Season 1. So there are 10 video lessons with lesson notes, featuring interviews recorded on the streets of Spain, and that's just the price for that one is just $16 in the Black Friday sale, and the price for our main course with 40 lessons is $119. Normally $199, but with that code you are getting 40% off. Okay, so those are our beginners courses, complete beginners courses. We also have our intermediate courses. So they begin with Coffee Break Spanish Level 2, our main course for that lower intermediate level. So let's just jump back here and we'll go back to our main page for the Academy. It's not letting me do that. Hang on 1 second. There we go. So if we look for Level 2, here we have Coffee Break Spanish Level 2. Okay, so in Level 2, we're looking at things more grammatically. In Level 1, we cover grammar. We don't shy away from grammar, but we're definitely getting into things in a more grammatical level with reflexive verbs, making arrangements, looking at the difference between ser and estar, two different verbs, both of which mean to be. We look at different types of verbs, the fact that adjectives agree in Spanish, describing people and so on. And again, each of the lessons have a video, audio, notes, and bonus audio. So if we go into the notes for this one, this is using the preterite tense. And the preterite tense is one of the past tenses in Spanish. It's the past tense that's used for narrative things. So if you're talking about what you did, where you went, what you ate, and so on, this is the preterite tense that we would use. So everything is explained with examples and with conversation practice and so on. And there's review there. It's all written out in note form, and that's obviously the written notes of the video and the audio lesson that we cover. Again, 40 lessons, and the last 10 lessons in the course are a sort of soap opera type thing. So again, it's, if we have a quick look at the notes, let's look at the notes for lesson 39. Quizás sea mejor ir en taxi. Now, those of you who are at this level will immediately see sea being a subjunctive. So this is an introduction of the subjunctive, and you can see the conversations that we're looking at are much more complex now. But of course, everything is explained, and you get an explanation of everything. This is, in this case, is a very brief introduction to the subjunctive. Now, one of the things I've not really explained yet, if you're completely new to Coffee Break, then you may not necessarily know that in all of our lessons, we have a learner. In the case of level 1 and 2, it's Cara. And Cara is learning from me as the teacher. And we've also got other native speakers involved for the conversations and so on. So you're learning along with Cara. Lenny here, I like Lenny's comment. I love CBS. I listen to the podcast every time I get in my car. I love the Scottish accent, especially Cara's sweet voice. So there you're learning along with Cara, and the questions Cara has are very much likely to be the questions that you may have. Or when Cara makes a mistake with a pronunciation and I correct that mistake, the chances are it's the kind of mistake that you might make. So it's this is the Coffee Break method. This is what we've done for many, many years. Over 18 years now we've been creating Coffee Break content. And it's exactly that, where you're emulating the student, and the student on the recording is they're representing you within the lesson. So it's not just a series of phrases that you learn and repeat. That's absolutely not what we do. Okay, so those are our, let me just jump back here. These are some of our intermediate courses. So we've got level 2, again, $199 down to $119 today for the next few days. We also have our travel diaries. Now, the Coffee Break Spanish travel diaries are a course where we follow a journey. In the case of season 1 of this, is 10 lessons following a journey through the north of Spain with a recently married couple. So newlyweds as they travel through the north of Spain, and what happens to them as they travel through the north of Spain. And we were visiting different places. And it's a lovely course giving you an opportunity to get to know some of these places, but also to practice your Spanish in a practical way. We have a second series of the travel diaries where 3 friends are traveling through South America. We have our Coffee Break Spanish Reading Club, and that's where you get a text every week for a year. And the text comes with an audio version, and you also have additional materials to help you practice what you're learning in the text. So the travel diaries are normally $64 down to $38. The reading club is normally $129 down to $77 with our code Black Friday BF2024. You don't even need to put that code in, because if you use this page, this is linked to from this page here, so coffeebreaklanguages.com/BF2024. If you use that page, then when you click on the Buy Now button, I just realised you've got me on the screen and not the... right, sorry, I'll just click on this. So this we came to this page from here. So let's click on, I'll just make this larger. So we were looking there at travel diaries. So let's click on the travel diaries season 2. So if we click Buy Now, then when we click Buy Now, you'll notice that when we go to the page, this is actually not working as it should, just for this demonstration, as always happens when you're doing a demonstration of something. Oh, hang on a second. Let me just check something here. So we're on this is our Black Friday page. So if we click on buy now, that should be applying the code. And it's not. I don't know why it's not doing that. Let me try it with this one. Now, there's obviously a bug on this page. We'll make sure that that is not happening on the main page and that you're definitely going to get the discount. But it's sometimes when we're doing a live and we're using a version of the page for the live, all of the links don't fully come through. Tom's asking, is there a reading club for each level? No, there's not. The reading club is at a kind of middle level, so intermediate. We'd say the reading club is A2, B1, Tom, if that helps. Hopefully that does help. Okay, do keep the questions coming. Again, and I've got some more general questions that I'll address a little later. But for now, let's keep going with our look through our different levels. So at an upper intermediate level, we are looking at Coffee Break Spanish level 3. So level 3 is where you're taking your Spanish further. There are 40 audio and video lessons, 40 audio lessons for level 3. We're going to be adding the videos soon, and you can understand more complex grammar there and learn through discussions and lesson notes. We also have a second season of To Go, and we have our Coffee Break Spanish magazine. And the magazine are 10 lesson audio courses, and these are all about culture. So it's where you're building your knowledge of culture and building your understanding of Spanish culture across the Spanish-speaking world. So those are our magazine courses. But we also have the Coffee Break Club. And the Coffee Break Club is where you can really take all of this type of this learning that you need to do at this intermediate level and do it in a completely new and innovative way. Let's take a look at the club. The club is a system where you get access to French, Italian, German and Spanish videos. And these are video lessons where you've literally got hundreds of video lessons that you can work through and tick them off as you do them. There's not a progressive way of working through them. You can do whatever video lesson you feel is useful to you at any one time. So if we see all the Spanish videos here, I'll just take me off the screen so that you can see this. And as we scroll down, all of these Spanish videos are available to you as a club member. You will be able to access all of this and view any one of the videos and practice your Spanish on a regular basis. So imagine just doing one of these per day and you are going to move forward every single day of the year with one of our lessons. So there's Annabelle, how to order coffee like a native Spanish speaker. Let's have a quick look at that. Yeah, this is what I'm meaning. It's not letting me show this because we're logged in as this demo. But if we click on one of these here, okay, so we can watch this one. If I click Donde me encuentro hoy, this is a video where we're trying to identify a mystery location. And it's a postcard that Annabelle has received. Let's have a look.
¿Dónde me encuentro hoy? Hola, yo soy Anabel y te doy la bienvenida a este episodio de ¿Dónde me encuentro hoy? En este tipo de vídeos leemos una postal que hemos recibido e intentamos adivinar desde dónde nos escriben. Acabo de recibir una postal de Concha, así que vamos a leerla.
Hola, Anabel. Anteayer llegué a esta ciudad italiana con muchísimas cosas que ver y hacer. Estuve en una de las famosas plazas donde había una infinidad de palomas. Me he podido hacer una foto con el puente Rialto de fondo y también fotografié el puente de los suspiros. Por supuestísimo, me encantó ir en góndola y vaporeto. ¡Qué experiencia! ¿Sabes ya dónde me encuentro hoy? ¿Nos vemos? Concha.
Muchas gracias, Concha, por la postal. Now I'm going to use English and try to work out the clues and also the Spanish. So let's go back to sentence number 1. And it says, Anteayer llegué a esta ciudad italiana con muchísimo...
So you get the idea here. We're following this postcard, trying to work out where the mystery location is, that Concha is located, where she's not mentioned it on the postcard. And then Annabelle will go through each of the clues in detail. And if you've not already worked out, we'll just jump to the reveal here.
Have you ever been there? ¿Alguna vez has estado ahí?
It
Let me
was
know,
in
of course,
Venecia.
in the comments.
So
But
hopefully
try
you managed to
keep
work out the
destination
mystery location there of
a
Annabelle's
secret.
postcard. So that's just one of the many, many videos that are available within the club. And you can see our different club tutors present the videos, and there are lots of different types of videos. There are these postcard videos, there are discovery videos where you're discovering something about the world. You've got grammar videos, so we've got a video here on saber versus conocer. We've got our Al Sol videos, so we're looking at interesting expressions. So here's encontrarse plus the gerund with me in Mexico. Hola a todos y bienvenidos a otro episodio de Coffee Break Spanish Al Sol. This is where we look at verbal constructions, and today I've got an interesting one and a fairly straightforward one too. It's the expression encontrarse haciendo algo, to find yourself doing something. And the good thing about this is it works exactly the same way in English and in Spanish. Encontrarse, the verb to find oneself. Haciendo, using the gerund, doing, algo, something. So to find oneself doing something. Let's take a look at our first example. Me encuentro haciendo lo mismo todos los días. Otra vez. Me encuentro haciendo lo mismo todos los días. So, me encuentro, I find myself, haciendo lo mismo. So there again, you get the idea. We're just doing a little bit of practice, moving on a little step every day with a new video. So we're adding new videos all the time to the club, and we've got some really exciting videos coming in 2025 where there are lessons which you'll be able to take, audio lessons which you'll be able to take when you're out walking. We're focusing on verbs and a new concept called the Verb Lab. Lots of new information and videos to come in the Coffee Break Club next year. So the club normally works as a subscription. So we've got a monthly or an annual subscription. But this year, based on lots of feedback from our Coffee Break learners, some of whom don't enjoy a subscription idea where you're repeating a payment, we've come up with a one-off payment version for the club, giving you access for the whole of 2025. And the usual price for this, let me just come back to our landing page here. If I come down to here, hopefully you'll be able to see this. Yep. So the usual price for this is $220 for the year, but with the 40% off, that's down to $132. And that gives you access from now all the way through until the 31st of December 2025. So literally you would be able to take a new video lesson every single day between now and 2025, and just think about the progress that you would make over that time, doing a little bit of learning every day. And I'm actually very interested to see Bertie's question here. Bertie's saying, I'm retired and try to subscribe to a different Spanish course each new year. It's just fun for me. These parts add up to being quite expensive. How about £100 all in for pensioners? Well, actually, Bertie, £100 will more or less, let me just double check that, $132 is £104.12. So for a little, about 24 pence per day, you would be able to access the Coffee Break Club with this special 13-month pass. And that would be, I would suggest, at an intermediate level, a fantastic way to move forward with your Spanish over the course of 2025. Just one idea. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's jump back to our page here. I'll just scroll up here. We've looked at our intermediate courses, level 1, level 2, level 3. We've looked at the magazines. We've talked about the magazines. We've talked about the club. Let's talk about advanced courses now. So 3 possibilities with our advanced courses. First of all, En Marcha con Coffee Break Spanish. En Marcha is a course that is focused on travel again. So it's based in the south of Spain. And within the 10 lessons, we have video interviews and audio interviews with native speakers, people living and working in that area. So it's a great way to practice your understanding, really building your comprehension with native speakers speaking at completely normal rates. And finding out again about culture and experiencing all that the beautiful parts of the south of Spain have to offer around Malaga, Frigiliana, Nerja, all of these areas. We also have our Coffee Break Spanish Level 4 course, which is our flagship course for advanced learners. And there you're working through a story of 40 lessons, and there's audio, there's text materials. You're building your knowledge of complex grammar and idiomatic expressions through the story-based course. And that is 199 down to 119. That's 119. Let me just check. That is coming in around... Sorry, I should have done this. Yeah. That's about £93. So again, thinking back to Bertie's question, the pound equivalent is around about £90, although Coffee Break Spanish Level 4 you can buy in pounds, so if you click through that buy now button you'll see what the pounds cost is, if that makes sense. We also have La Penúltima Voluntad. So La Penúltima Voluntad is a very advanced course. This is a native level story, but you get full support for that. So if you're an advanced Spanish learner, perhaps you've done level 4 already, perhaps you're ready to move on to very advanced Spanish, then this Penúltima Voluntad is a story lasting 20 chapters, and you work through the chapters along with us. And I think I can show you this in the Academy. Let's just scroll back here to the Academy, and we'll go to Voluntad. There we go. So if we go into this course, you'll see here that we've got the chapter 1. So we've got the text with the audio file. We've got an annotated text. We've got language study audios where we go through the text in detail, vocabulary lists, an audio version of just the text. So that's like a kind of audio book, if you like. And then an audio visual version of the text. We've also got a language workshop after each lesson there too. So let's take a look at the text of chapter 1, and this will give you an idea of the level. I think I can, let me try zooming in here on the page. There we go. So you can see it's written as a novel. You're following the language. We're talking about a high level of language. Marta colgó la llamada con el abogado de su familia todavía sin dar crédito a lo que acababa de oír. So Marta hung up the call with the family lawyer, still not quite believing what she had just heard. And so we're following a really exciting story about Marta and the inheritance, perhaps, that she gets from her father, but I'll not go into too much detail. So that is the text of the story. And now I've come out of this because I've gone too far in there. Hang on, let's do this. Yeah, so we've also got an annotated text version. So if you can see here, we've now got acababa de oír, which is highlighted, and we've got an explanation in the footnotes. So all of the highlighted phrases with explanations, this gives you the opportunity to get into it in more detail. But of course, our audio version includes a discussion of that, and we follow the discussion, we follow the story all the way through for the 20 chapters of La Penúltima Voluntad. And even better, this is also available as a book to buy on Amazon. So you can buy the physical book to accompany the course as you work through the course. So that's La Penúltima Voluntad, normally $250 down to $150 with our Black Friday discount. We also offer bundles. So if you want to put a bundle together of levels 1 and 2, for example, then that's $349 down to $209, levels 1, 2 and 3, $499 down to $299, and levels 1 to 4. So if you want to go from absolute beginners up to an advanced level of our main courses, then for just $389, you can access all of those courses with 160 lessons in total, lasting you a lifetime of Spanish almost. And that would be a really good way of making great progress with your learning. And that's kind of the collection of everything that we have to offer in our courses. Let me come back to our slides. If I go back a stage, or forward a stage even. So we've talked about levels 1, 2, 3, 4. We've talked about our magazine. We've talked about a reading club, the travel diaries in Marta. We've talked about La Penúltima Voluntad. If we think about the path and where all of this happens with beginners, upper beginners, lower intermediate, and so on, maybe this would be best to focus on. So we've got beginners content for level 1, to go season 1, lower intermediate content for level 2, then travel diary seasons 1 and 2, reading club seasons 1 and 2, Espresso, it's another short course that's also available, the upper intermediate course of level 3, then our magazines and to go season 2, and then advanced, we've got in Marta, level 4 and La Penúltima Voluntad. So hopefully that gives you a good kind of understanding of where each of these course fits in the range of levels. And I think now okay. So this is where you can see that the travel diaries sort of fit between level 1 and 2, and the magazine sorts of fits between levels 2 and 3, the reading club kind of level 2, and the club the top of level 1, the middle of level 2, and the bottom of level 3. So it kind of provides content for that middle area where you're an intermediate learner, you want to move forward with your Spanish by doing a little bit every day with the club. And as I say, that is really as much as I wanted to share with you in terms of the actual content that we have. I know we've had some questions. I'm delighted to answer your questions now. And I hope that what I've been suggesting has certainly given you some food for thought. So Tom, you had said earlier you're not a beginner, but just a step beyond that. You do well with vocabulary, but you struggle with verbs. I would definitely suggest that level 2 would be the right course for you, because level 2 is going to build on that confidence that you have with the vocabulary, but it will really take you back to a very basic level with verbs and get you solidly understanding those verbs and moving forward with that, and then being able not just to talk in the present, but in the past and even in the future. Duncan thinks he's intermediate about B1, but moving sideways. So that sideways movement is very important, because it means you pick up all of this type of understanding of different vocabulary areas, of different grammar concepts. And Duncan, perhaps level 3 might be good for you, or the club. You might consider the club. Brad is saying, I've recently purchased the first and second set of 40 lessons each. My question is, after these 2 seasons of lessons, how conversationally proficient can I expect to be? So that's a really good question, Brad. What I would say is that it's going to depend on a lot of things. And the key thing it's going to depend on is how much speaking practice you put into this. Because if you only ever listen, and if you only ever consume the lessons, then your speaking is not going to develop as well as it would unless you're actually putting that speaking into practice. Now, that could mean signing up for online lessons with someone, or meeting a friend who speaks Spanish, or I think it's Spanish that you're learning. If you're here, it's the Spanish live, so I'm guessing it's Spanish you're learning. But it can also mean just practicing the speaking yourself. So, for example, if we're learning to order drinks, or if we're learning to check into a hotel or something like that, it's quite possible to practice that speaking as you would, even though you're not speaking to someone who speaks Spanish. You can practice speaking while you're walking the dog, or in the shower, or driving the car. You've got this opportunity to try to practice the language that you're learning. And within our courses, we very much try to leave space for you to do that practice. And also in the club, many of the videos there are about getting practice in speaking, and we leave space for you to formulate your answers and to try to work out what it is you would say, because speaking, part of speaking is about pronunciation and getting the right sound of the words, but the huge part of speaking is about thinking on your feet and thinking about how to formulate an answer to a question you've been asked, or to formulate the question that you want to ask. And all that thinking on your feet, you can practice that. You absolutely can practice that. So that's what we put together in so many of our club videos, where we're trying to train you to be able to think on your feet and be able to put those words together in an effective way that will make you understood. So I hope that answers your question. Kat is saying lower intermediate need help with listening comprehension. So listening comprehension is something, again, that we really cover lots in the club. So maybe, Kat, if you're not already a member of the club, you would consider joining there. And within the club, we've got lots of listening practice, lots of, although it is reading practice, but ultimately, because you're hearing it, because it's presented by a native speaker, then you're listening as well. Fiona is saying intermediate, upper intermediate, working through the 6-month intermediate course at the moment. I've listened to all the free podcasts, still find use of appropriate tenses takes effort. So I think, Fiona, you're talking about our masterclass. And the masterclass is our 6-month course. It's not part of our Black Friday sale because we don't currently have a masterclass available for purchase. But if you are looking for further practice in tenses, I would suggest level 3 is something that you might want to consider. But we will be doing, if we've not done it already, a tense mastery module in the masterclass. So hopefully that will help you there. Kat is asking, does purchase of any course last only 1 year or forever? So with our main courses in the Academy, when you buy those, you have them forever. You've got access to them. You can download them to your own device and so on. If it's the club, then it's a temporary access thing. So when you use the club pass for 2025, what I suggested earlier at $220 down to $132, the club is 1 year of access, and you pay for that 1 year. At the end of that 1 year, you stop paying and you've had access for the year. But our main courses, our level 1, 2, 3 courses and so on, those are lifetime access. Okay, Ria is saying, I need help with speaking, constructing sentences on the fly. That's exactly what we're talking about. How can I do this with coffee break? I can't pick up and immerse myself in a Spanish-speaking community, unfortunately. So it's exactly what I was saying. If you've already got some Spanish, Ria, I would definitely say that the club is the best option for you, because that is where we will be helping you train yourself to create those sentences, to construct the sentences in many of the videos. Let's just jump back into the club. Over here, I think we can see it. So if we do, let's see, if we go to the type video here. So within the translation challenges, translation challenge sounds like, oh, it's very grammatical and it's a translation and so on. But if we jump into one of these translation challenges, I'm going to show you how this works. And what you're doing is thinking on the spot about how you would say something. So Annabelle, in this case, is giving you a sentence to translate. Let's jump in here.
Hola, yo soy Anabel y translate into Spanish is: the book was written by my favorite author. 10 segundos, por favor. Y tiempo. The book was written by my favorite author. The Spanish would be: el libro fue escrito por mi autor favorito or mi autora favorita. The book, el libro. And here we have was written by. This is the passive voice. It means that the book didn't write itself. So there was someone who wrote that book. That's why here we have.
So just an example there where you've given that time to think. Obviously, you can pause the video if you want, but you're given the time to think of whatever sentence it is. Now, maybe you're talking to someone about a book and you're saying the book was written by my favourite author. So you're trying to think up this word, this phrase, and say that in Spanish. Now, obviously, that specific example is very, very particular, but there are hundreds of translation challenges here in the club. So the ongoing practice that you do, you'll get used to these different structures. You'll get used to this different idea of working through these translations, and you will become more proficient in finding the right word to use at the right time. So, Ria, I hope that answers your question. You've also got another question. Does a bundle include the core lessons, the magazine, the videos, etc. for that level? So the bundle includes just the main level course. So level 1 plus level 2. It wouldn't include also the the travel diaries or the magazine. Those are separate courses. But the bundles are level 1 and level 2, or level 2 and level 3, and so on. So I hope that answers your question. Joanne is asking 2 questions. Is there any opportunity to speak? So in some of our courses, like our masterclass course, where it's guided learning in a sense, then we've got guided learning sessions where you do get the opportunity to speak. Those are not part of our masterclass. These are not part of our Black Friday sale at the moment because the masterclass isn't available for sale. But we also, within the club, have a special type of video called Over to You, where we invite you to try out your speaking. I think I can possibly show you some of that if I jump back here. So we've got Spanish speaking here. Every Tuesday we're posting a question. So Pablo's asking si sois más de mañanas o de noches. So are you a morning person or an evening person? And you can see here Bridget's responded there with her video. We've got David responding about his motivation for learning Spanish. Another one from Bridget. We've got Ava there. So the members of the community are responding with practicing their Spanish through recording a little video and uploading it to the community. So that's one way of practicing your speaking within our content. Joanne's also saying, not sure whether I'm upper, intermediate or advanced. Can you show the content of level 4? Yes, I can indeed. Let's jump back over to the Coffee Break Academy. We can come out here. Let me just do this. So level 4. I'll jump into one of these transcripts and then you'll see the amount of Spanish that's used. So the full transcript includes all of the Spanish in the lesson. So the introduction between me and Carmen is in Spanish. Where we explain concepts, we use English, but lots of Spanish there. And then this particular lesson is a diary entry. So you can see here the level. I'll just scroll through this, Joanne. I hope this helps you to get a feel for the level of level 4. Again, if you go to the page, you can click through and there's sample materials within each level page that should give you more of an idea. David is saying, I'm probably intermediate. I really struggle with understanding native speakers once they get going at 100 miles per hour. What would you recommend? So I would recommend, if you've not yet done level 3, then I would recommend level 3. If you have done level 3, then I would suggest that you think about the club, because the club, again, will give you that ongoing practice in different ways, and it's that variety of types of input that you get that very much emulates the variety of the experiences that you have in everyday life. And I'm really glad to see Kat's been trying the club this month and that you love it. And Joanne is liking the idea of the club, speaking under pressure. Great. So I hope, David, that gives you an idea. Maybe the club is the right thing for you too. And as I say, there's never been a better time to join the club. Lots of people are trying out the club this month, having taken part in our treasure hunt last month, and this is why we've introduced this special offer at the moment, because it is the best time to become a member of the club. And as I say, with a 2025 pass, you can access the club from today all the way until the 31st of December without worrying about having a recurring payment or anything like that. It's just a one-off payment that will get you into the club all the way until the 31st of December. Just one other little thing, and that is to look at some comments from some of our existing Coffee Break Spanish learners. So thanks almost exclusively to Coffee Break Spanish. I've gone from being an absolute beginner to level B2 in less than a year. So that's Sarah, one of our Coffee Break Spanish learners. Claire said, I really enjoyed Coffee Break Spanish. It was really thoughtfully and cleverly put together to challenge, enhance and improve my Spanish. It was certainly the best online class I tried. Muchas gracias, Claire. Andrew said, I've tried every way to learn Spanish, from private tutors to group classes, from meetups to moving to Spain for a year and attending una escuela de idiomas for 5 days a week. Nothing has really worked except for Coffee Break. Coffee Break is like a safe ladder on which to climb higher. we are very happy to be that safe ladder for you, Andrew, and for anyone else interested in learning Spanish and building their Spanish, their knowledge of the Spanish language. Well, we are coming to the end of this live stream. I hope that it's been useful to you. I hope that it's given you an idea of where to go next with your Spanish, and that it can do so in a time that is the best possible time to take that next step and save some pounds and dollars and pennies and cents and everything else. Thank you for joining me. I'm just going to go and get ready for the French live, which is happening in 8 minutes' time. So I better go and get organised and put on my French t-shirt rather than my Spanish t-shirt on. But I really would like to say thank you for joining us today, and of course for your ongoing support and interest in Coffee Break Spanish. It is the perfect time of year to take that next step. As I say, it also is a time of year when you're getting ready for the new year and putting things in place so that you've got the right facilities, the right materials for that new year is perhaps the best idea. Brad's saying, safe ladder, that's a good way to describe our journey towards language proficiency. Yep, and we are very happy to be that safe ladder for you. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you very much for joining me. I wish you a great weekend, whatever you're doing, whether it's a holiday weekend for you or whether it's just a normal weekend. Have a great one. And as ever, happy coffee breaking.